What is bright, cheerful, loved by buzzy pollinators, and even has edible fleshy tubers? Yes, I'm talking about dahlias. But unfortunately, dahlias can become infected by a number of different plant viruses. And to complicate matters, it can be hard to know whether your dahlias have a virus or another problem such as nutrient deficiency. So, let's take a closer look at the symptoms of virus infection in dahlia plants. When a virus infects a dahlia plant, it can stunt the growth of the plant, reduce flowering, and result in ugly plants in your flower beds. The most common symptom of virus infection in dahlias is chlorosis, or yellowing of the dahlia plant's leaves. The yellowing can occur along the dahlia plant's leaf veins. This occurrence is called veinal chlorosis. You can see the yellow veins here on this dahlia plant. The yellowing can also occur anywhere across the leaf in random patches. These patches are called mosaic symptoms, which you can see here. Or, when infected by certain viruses, the yellowing on dahlia leaves can occur in ring-like or circular patterns. So we've talked about when infection by a virus changes the colour of the dahlia leaves. The colours change from a healthy green to a mottled or streaky yellow. But what about changes in the dahlia leaf shape from virus infection? Dahlia leaves infected with a virus often appear to be distorted or twisted. The leaves are often deformed and appear asymmetrical or lopsided, which you can see here. Let me quickly remind you what a healthy, normal, properly shaped dahlia leaf looks like. On a healthy dahlia leaf, we can see an even green colour over the entire leaf surface, and symmetrical and smooth leaves, with no distortion or puckering. And let's compare these healthy leaves again with the distorted, misshapen, puckered leaves we can see here on the dahlia plant infected by a virus. What a dramatic difference! And here's the final clue that your dahlia plant may have a viral infection. It's that the growth of the dahlia plant is stunted. Virus-infected dahlia plants are generally noticeably shorter than healthy plants. In this case here, the infected dahlia plant is less than half the height of the healthy plants around it. But wait, how can you tell the difference between these symptoms of virus infection on your dahlias versus other problems, such as nutrient deficiency? Here on this dahlia, you can see yellowing between the veins. This is known as interveinal chlorosis. This symptom is not usually an indication of virus infection. You can see that the dahlia leaves are not distorted or puckered, like you saw with the virus infection, and the plant has grown to a decent height. This yellowing between the leaf veins is therefore more likely to be a nutrient deficiency, such as insufficient magnesium or iron in the soil. Another dahlia leaf symptom you might confuse with virus infection are the tiny white speckles seen here across the dahlia leaves. This white speckly symptom, again, is not a symptom of virus infection. These speckles you can see here on the dahlia leaf are caused by feeding damage from a tiny sap-sucking pest known as a leafhopper. Feeding damage from other tiny insects such as thrips can also look similar. To make matters worse for people in the UK who grow dahlias can sometimes have even more than one virus infection at a time. And what's more, many of these viruses can infect other plants, not just dahlias. Some of the most common dahlia viruses in the UK are tobacco streak virus, tomato spotted wilt virus, Impatiens Necrotic Spot Virus, and cucumber mosaic virus. Unfortunately, even if you buy your dahlia tubers from a specialist supplier, you may find infected dahlia plants. This is because virus infection in dahlias is very common. So what can you do if you spot symptoms of virus infection on your dahlias? Can you cure the virus infection and prevent it from killing the plant? Unfortunately, once the virus infects a dahlia plant, the dahlia plant can't be cured. However, although the virus infection in dahlia isn't curable, you can control the infection and stop the virus spreading to other healthy dahlia plants nearby. The most important way to keep your dahlia plants healthy is to dig out and remove virus-infected dahlia plants as soon as you notice the symptoms I've just talked about. Dig the dahlia tubers out and bin the whole dahlia plant. Although there are test kits you can buy to determine which particular virus is infecting your dahlia, you don't usually need to test your plants to confirm infection, unless, of course, you're a plant health scientist like me and you're into viruses. If you see those patterns of dahlia leaf yellowing associated with viruses which I showed you earlier, such as the yellow veins on the leaves, mottled yellow patches on the leaves, or circular marks on the leaves, combined with leaf distortion and stunted growth, then I can pretty much guarantee that your dahlia plant is infected with the virus. I find that the best policy with virus infection in dahlias is to remember these two mantras. If it looks diseased, it is diseased. And if in doubt, dig it out. Viruses can't easily move themselves around, so viruses rely on other organisms to carry them between plants, such as sap-sucking insects like thrips, aphids, or leafhoppers. But unfortunately, we humans can also act as vectors for dahlia viruses by unintentionally carrying and spreading the virus between plants on our secateurs or scissors, or even on our hands. So now you understand this viral hitchhiker theory, here's 2 more ways you can prevent the spread of dahlia viruses, as well as just digging out those infected dahlia plants. The first of the 2 more ways is to encourage natural predators in your garden, such as birds, ladybird insects, and even wasps. These predators, small or large, will feed on the sap-sucking insects, which as vectors carry the dahlia viruses around. So, the lower numbers of vectors you have feeding on your dahlia plants means a lower chance of your plants becoming infected with a virus, which is good news for growing healthy dahlia plants. The last way to protect your dahlias is to clean your tools when working between dahlia plants. This can seem like a lot of work, but you don't want to become a vector yourself and carry the virus to new dahlia plants on your secateurs or scissors. A pro tip here is to keep multiple pairs of snips or scissors, so you can disinfect one tool while working with the other tool. The most effective way to kill dahlia viruses is to soak the blade or tool in a solution made up of 10% bleach and 90% water in a container for at least 30 seconds. Then rinse in water and dry them. However, bleach can sometimes eat away at the metal of your garden tools, so a gentler option is to wash your blades or tools in warm soapy water and then also rinse and dry them. So that's it. How to diagnose virus infection on your dahlia plant, and how to prevent virus infection from spreading. If you follow these simple steps, you can make sure your dahlias will have luxurious, healthy leaves and beautiful flowers from summer through to autumn. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to learn more about growing healthy plants, check out my other videos, if you feel like it. Wishing you healthy plants and happy gardening.